MIA team for the opportunity to be here with you today. My name is Ken Tsunoda. That's me. And I'm Vice President of Development at Techsoup. And Techsoup is a nonprofit social enterprise based in San Francisco, about 200 employees. We've been around for about 30 years. And you may know us for our technology product donation program. That's what we're probably best known for. We work with technology companies like Microsoft, Adobe, Intuit that like to donate or specially discount their technology products for charities around the world as part of their corporate philanthropy. So we have a platform and a network of global partners that enables them to do it at scale. So since we've started, we've distributed about $11 billion worth of technology products, services, and some funding as well to over 1 million nonprofits around the world in 236 different countries and territories on behalf of about 100 corporate partners. But why am I here today at the Mission Investing Institute? So I wanted to tell you about an approach that we're taking to raise the growth capital that we need as a nonprofit social enterprise through a direct public offering of debt securities that allows all of our stakeholders to become impact investors in Techsoup in amounts as small as $50. And we're really trying to make it possible for the employees of the nonprofits that we serve and Techsoup's employees to participate as well. So very much focused on having low investment minimums. And I've learned quite a lot along the way that I'd like to share with you. But let me just tell you, so about 1.5 years ago, our CEO, Rebecca Massasak, asked me to help her figure out how we could raise $11.5 million in growth capital to execute our strategic plan. And Techsoup right now is in the midst of a rather remarkable transformation, and lots of opportunities for growth. So we've supported about 1 million nonprofits so far, but we know that there are 12 million civil society organizations around the world. So we really want to do more outreach. We're hearing from the nonprofits that we serve that they, in addition to donated technology and software, they want other kinds of products and services from Techsoup, help implementing technology solutions, help selecting them, IT help desk. They're looking for training, online coursework, and also increasingly looking for hardware. So we need to invest in new product and service offerings. And our corporate partners also are completely changing how they want to work with Techsoup. So traditionally, they've given us an inventory of licenses for donated on-premise software that we could distribute through an e-commerce platform to nonprofits globally. But now as they move their offerings to cloud-based services, it's requiring us to completely change how we work with corporate partners. They want to be able to own the relationships with the end users, the nonprofits, in a software as a service model. And so Techsoup now needs to be able to become a service provider operating on the back end, supporting our corporate partners, doing outreach to the nonprofit sector and validation to make sure they're legitimate charities, but not owning the nonprofit relationship. So a huge transformation in how we operate that's requiring significant investment in technology and business process. We've done a lot of strategic planning over the last few years. We've seen this on the horizon. We know that there is $11.5 million of investment that we need to do in order to execute our plan. We have wanted really to find a way that we could engage all of the stakeholders in our network as impact investors in this campaign. We sat down with our professional advisors and our board and thought through, well, how can we do this? I mean, we are a social enterprise nonprofit that gets about 90% of our $34 million a year operating budget from earned revenue. So every time a nonprofit requests a donated product through us, we ask for them to pay a small administrative fee to cover the cost of us to operate. Those fees are a big chunk of our operating model. And so it makes it possible for us to do a debt financing that we ask for our stakeholders to give us the capital we need to grow. We use that to expand the resources that we get out to nonprofits globally and increase the number of nonprofits we serve. But at the same time, it grows our earned revenue and it reduces our transaction costs as we scale. So it can generate cash flow that we can use to repay our stakeholders as impact investors after 5 years with interest. So we've really tried to think hard about how we can do a campaign that makes all of this possible. We think of the stakeholders that we wanted to engage in this campaign, not just as the foundations who support us and our corporate partners, but also the nonprofits that we serve, their employees. And we did a lot of market research and found that the nonprofits and the employees of nonprofits are only able to make investments in amounts on the order of $50 to $100 as a minimum. And we wanted to make it possible for all of them to participate. So our CEO challenged us to try to figure out a way to do an impact investing campaign that engages all of our stakeholders with small minimums like that. And in addition, we wanted to do this in a way that could engage our stakeholders globally if possible, but certainly across all 50 states. We found early on that doing a securities offering like this on a global basis would be too difficult to try to manage. But we started by trying to see how we could do an offering of securities to investors in all 50 states with very small minimums. You know, it's always been a puzzle to me. Why is it that I'm constantly bombarded with requests for donations for $50, but it's so infrequent for me to be asked to be an impact investor with similarly small amounts? You know, Kiva has asked me to be an impact investor, but really no one else has asked me to do an impact investment with a small minimum like that. And it occurred to me finally after doing a little bit of research that a big part of that reason is because of securities law. It's easily straightforward to go out and ask for a donation, but as soon as you start asking for investments, you need to do it in a way that is compliant with securities regulation. And for nonprofit organizations, small organizations like Techsoup, it's very expensive and complicated in order to do offerings like this in a way that complies with securities regulation, both on a state and on a federal level. We sat down with some professional advisors. We got some great help from a firm in the Bay Area called Cutting Edge Capital that specializes in doing direct public offerings on behalf of social enterprises and nonprofits. And they helped us put together a structure for a direct public offering of debt securities that we could make work for investors pretty much across the spectrum, both accredited investors, including foundations and our corporate partners, but also non-accredited investors like the nonprofits that we serve and their employees. Fortunately, over the last few years, there's been some changes in securities regulation that makes it easier for smaller businesses and nonprofit organizations like Techsoup to do offerings of securities like these, both at a state and at a federal level. The Jobs Act has made it possible at a federal level to do some new kinds of crowd-funded investment campaigns, and many states are also offering direct public offering structures, so long as you keep your offerings within the confines of that state. But we have created a structure here, and the kind of offering that we decided to do, because we're raising more than $1 million and trying to do it in all 50 states, is an SEC-regulated Reg A Plus Tier 2 offering. We're the first nonprofit organization that the Securities and Exchange Commission has qualified to do this type of securities offering. We were qualified in September of last year. It was a significant undertaking figuring out how to do it, and we've gained a lot of lessons learned along the way that I'm really eager to share with others who are trying to do similar kinds of offerings. We, in November, launched our offering on the SVX Impact Investing Marketplace. One of the lessons learned from this process is that transaction costs are a significant issue. That doing $50 investments is not easy because of the cost in doing the payment transactions and getting the information that you need on the investor to make sure that the investment is suitable for them. We were very fortunate to have a partner in SVX that was really excited about the fact that we were trying to democratize impact investing, making it open for more and different kinds of stakeholders in small amounts, and including non-accredited investors. So they invested alongside us in getting this offering off the ground. So we have 3 different tiers of notes. The first 2 are open to anyone, so both accredited and non-accredited investors, with a $50 minimum investment up to $2,500. We're offering a 2% annual interest rate and a 5-year term. For investments of $2,500 up to $50,000, also open to all investors, we offer a 3.5% annual interest rate, 5-year term. For $50,000 investments and up, this is only for accredited investors, and we offer a 5% annual interest rate. Now, in addition to this, the financial returns, I think we have a relatively clear social impact statement that we can offer to our stakeholders for participating in these notes. So we know that through the projections that we've done, that through this campaign over the next 3 years, we'll be able to nearly double the number of nonprofits that we support globally. And we'll be able to increase the value of the resources that we get to the global nonprofit sector from something like $1.9 billion last year to $4.8 billion 3 years from now. So we can show how their investment is going to translate into additional resources that we distribute to civil society globally. We are projecting that for every $100 invested in our campaign, it will enable us to get an incremental $47,000 of resources to the nonprofit sector globally. So we really feel that impact statement is something that's very important for us. And just a very quick update on our progress so far. So we, as I said, we launched in November. So far, we've raised 44% of our $11.5 million goal. We got a $4 million investment from Nonprofit Finance Fund. And Nonprofit Finance Fund decided, rather than investing through the direct public offering, that they preferred to do a direct loan for Techsoup, which is, and I think one of the lessons learned from me in rolling out this campaign is to have the flexibility to be able to accept investment in all different kinds of forms from different stakeholders depending on their preferences. So we've been able to accept direct loan from Nonprofit Finance Fund, $1 million investment from Microsoft, one of our corporate partners, through the direct public offering. And then we've also received individual investments ranging in size from $50,000 up to $50,000 through the DPO. And also some of our stakeholders have preferred to do donations or grants. We've had a couple of conversations about recoverable grants as well. So it's been important for us to be able to support all those different types of structures. And we've gotten some positive press so far for the innovative nature of the campaign that we're doing. I'd say very happy to share lessons that we've learned along the way. A couple of just high-level ones. One, it takes a lot of education to help people understand what it means to invest in a nonprofit. So we've had to really focus on communications. Transaction costs are really important. It's important to have a partnership with a platform like SVX to help with the transactions. And then the conversations that we've had with corporate partners and foundations have been, many of whom have given us grant funding in the past. Transitioning over to an impact investment oriented conversation has not always been as straightforward as we've thought. Many of them are more set up to give grant funding, but some are also transitioning over to making impact investments in Techsoup. Many of our corporate partners in particular have been excited about supporting us, and we're very optimistic about raising the remaining part of the campaign over the course of the next 2 years. So thank you very much for your time, and look forward to answering any questions after the session.